our very first session in our Level Up in 30 series. We are so excited to have you here. My name is Caitlin Janetti. I'm a career counselor in the Division of Master's and Professional Programs here at Brown and also in the School of Professional Studies. And just to provide you some quick context, Level Up in 30 is designed to provide you some quick, practical career and professional development strategies and guidance that we're hoping you can immediately apply through or in conjunction with your non-degree credentials. So about our topic today, career pivots. One thing I just want to quickly normalize is that these are very common, right? Career ladders are not ladder or careers aren't ladders anymore, right? Most of us are making moves across different industries, functions, opportunities throughout our careers. So pivots can be very exciting, but they can also be very overwhelming. And that's why I'm hoping through our session today, it's not just about figuring out your entire future, but it's more about gaining some clarity, maybe building some of that first momentum and identifying some of those first critical steps for yourself. So just some housekeeping items before we jump in. We will be using some different engagement platforms throughout Zoom today. And then as I mentioned, I have my colleague Komal Shah here. So if you do have questions throughout, please feel free to put them in the chat box and Komal will help us answering any of those as they come along. All right, but here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start by talking about the why behind a career pivot and really the importance of being intentional. And from there, we're going to talk about how to start a strategic self-assessment just to get a better understanding of what's really important to you. And then from there, we're going to take inventory of our skills, our strengths, our experiences we have, and how to discuss translating them to new opportunities. Then we're going to take a look at how can we take all of this information and begin to put it into action. And lastly, towards the end, we're going to be able to help you begin working on your own career pivot action plan. So first, I want to kind of get a sense of the room. I'm going to launch a poll, and I would love to know, I'm launching it right now, I'd love to know, where are you in your pivot journey right now? Maybe where are you looking to pivot? And why do you want to pivot? And select all that apply. So let's give about 30 seconds to do this. Feel free to start answering the poll. It's anonymous, so no judgment here. And then I'll share out the results so you can see what your peers are saying. Give a few more seconds so a few more of you can engage with it. I'd love to see 100%. So far, we're at 50%. Excellent. All right, so it looks like everyone has responded. So I'm going to share out the results, and it looks like, let's see, where are you in your pivot journey? So a good amount of you are just exploring. Some are maybe feeling a little overwhelmed. Some are actually actively planning a career pivot, which is great. And one person's already in motion, so that's awesome. Good mix. And then where are you looking to pivot? We have one person who wants to go to a whole different industry and a whole different role. A couple that are exploring the same industry, same or a new role, and then one that's still, or a few that are still exploring their options. And then what are some of the reasons? It looks like one person said better financial growth, more meaningful work, greater opportunities for advancement, which is awesome. Maybe your skills and strengths aren't being fully utilized where you're at right now, and you want to learn something new or just really interested in a different area or field. So thank you so much for engaging. I hope that gives you an idea of also where your peers are at in their career pivot journey as well. All right, so before we take a deeper dive into our self-assessment, I want you to consider two things. What are you actually looking for in your career pivot and why, right? What is that drive behind a potential career pivot? Sometimes our why is positive, which is great, right? Maybe you're excited about a new opportunity or a new industry or a new interest, and other times it's driven by frustration. So maybe you're feeling burnt out, you're unchallenged, you're disconnected from the work, or your skills aren't being fully utilized. But the important thing is understanding the drive behind your pivot. And that's going to help you avoid making a move away from something without being clear on what you're moving towards. It's also really important to think just beyond a new job title, right? Or a new type of job. You really need to think about, are you looking at a different industry, a different function or role entirely? What type of organization are you looking at? A smaller, mid-sized, larger company? Do you want to work with different products, a different service, a different type of mission, or a different type of organizational culture? Or maybe you're looking to start your own business. So the more specific that you can be or about what you're looking for and why it matters to you, the easier it's going to be to evaluate opportunities and also make those really intentional decisions for yourself. So now we're going to talk about what to consider for your strategic self-assessment. And I want you to get self-absorbed. Take this time to really just focus on yourself and what matters most to you. So once we have a better understanding of the why and where or the what we're looking for in our pivot, it's time to really think about what matters most to you. So on one side are the things that are drawing you towards the opportunities. This might be your values. What is most important? It might be your interests. What really gets you excited? It might be your strengths. What are your skills? The things that people rely on you the most for, or what type of work energizes you. And then on the flip side, we have our non-negotiables. So these are things that you just aren't willing to compromise on. That could be compensation, it could be flexibility or location, hybrid versus in-person work, work-life balance, especially for some of us who have to maybe take care of a family or take care of elders or someone. It could be those growth opportunities, as some of you mentioned, right? Will I be able to advance in this organization? Or it could be something a little bit more simple, such as what's important to the company needs to also be important to me, right? So that could be the company's values, the mission, the purpose of the work they're doing. But a successful pivot is going to require balancing both of these things. And one mistake some people might make is that you're too rigid in your path, right? You might have a very specific role, industry, business idea in mind, but it's important to know that there's multiple ways to get there. So we do have to be very flexible and adaptable along the way. And remember, it's not just a ladder, it's going to be different avenues, different pathways to get there. But essentially, our goal here is to stay grounded in what matters most to you, right? While remaining open to different pathways, opportunities that can help you get to your destination. All right, so now that we have a better understanding of where you want to go, why you might want to go there, and what's important to you, it's really important to start mapping the gap between where you are today and where you want to be in your career pivot. So the first step is to find your gold nuggets. What are the skills, the strengths, the experiences, your accomplishments and achievements, and even the knowledge and value you already have? Many people might focus on what they're lacking, right? Or what they're missing in their career pivot, but focus on what do I have today and the value that I already can bring. Next, you want to do your research. Look at job postings for the jobs you're interested in. Look at LinkedIn profiles of the people or the companies that you want to go to. Look at industry trends or industry reports and really begin to talk to people who are actually doing the work you're interested in. So essentially, let the market, let that job market or that market for that specific area tell you what employers, organizations are looking for and the needs that they need to fill. And then we're going to map those gaps or we're going to identify those gaps. So ask yourself, what skills am I missing? What experiences might I be missing? And which ones can I realistically develop over the next few months? And remember, you don't have to fill every single gap. So maybe try to prioritize which gaps are going to be the most important to fill before you make your career pivot. All right. So now that you've done all this assessment, you've done research, you've started thinking about filling those gaps, we need to take all this exploration and information and put it into action. So first, I would encourage you to begin crafting your narrative, crafting your story around your career pivot. So one of the biggest challenges of a career pivot is helping others understand your story, the why you're looking to pivot. So think first of all about your bridge or a single point of relevance, right? The connection between your past experience and where you're looking to go next. So your job is to help others connect those dots. So for example, a teacher, let's say a teacher is looking to move into corporate learning and development. They're not starting over, but their bridge might be that they're designing learning experiences, or they have facilitated trainings to others. They've helped others, whether it be students or other professionals, develop different skills. And these are very common areas and skills for both types of roles. After that, I would encourage you to begin marketing yourself. Get yourself out there. So begin communicating your story, your transferable skills, your accomplishments and strengths in a way that align with your target audience or your target role or industry or organization you're looking to pivot to. And always remember that employers are hiring for value. So don't forget that value and that transferable, again, transferable value and skills I would say that you have that you can talk about already. And finally, start networking strategically. So focus on having conversations with people who are doing the work, again, that you're interested in. These conversations can, one, help you practice telling your story or your narrative to somebody else, but they can also validate your interest in your career pivot. It can help you learn industry language or specific things for a specific sector, field, or industry. And it can also maybe help you uncover some of those hidden opportunities or different opportunities that are not necessarily visible online. So this is also just, again, help you begin practicing your story to others, which can be a very hard, I'd say, starting point when you're doing a career pivot. But I'd say the more clearly you can tell your story and begin to communicate your value and build relationships with others, the easier it might begin or be to begin building some momentum in your career. All right, so because we only have 30 minutes and I gave you a lot of quick information or some of those clear action steps to get started, I now want to hand it over to you. So I want you to start thinking about all this information and begin applying it to your potential career pivot. So over the next 15 minutes or so, we are going to be working together on whiteboards and Zoom, and I'll walk you through how you can do that. But I want to give you the time to begin reflecting and practice translating your experience and really defining your concrete next steps for a pivot. And just remember that the goal today, I'd say, isn't to leave with your whole pivot figured out. I just really want to give you some clarity. I want you to be able to collaborate with your peers, see what they're thinking. Maybe there's some ideas that haven't come to mind that you can network with others on. So I'm hoping this is more collaborative in nature versus, again, figuring out your whole entire next steps about your career pivot. So I'm going to stop sharing at this time because I'm going to open up the whiteboard. So give me a minute to do that. All right, can everyone see this okay? It's up and running. Excellent. Okay, so we're on the whiteboard now. I'm going to just quickly walk you through some of the key features that we're going to be using or that I want you to use to collaborate on with this. So on the left-hand side of your screen, there is a toolbar. You'll notice an arrow. You'll notice the hand. If you click on the hand, you can drag around the whiteboard. You can zoom in and out of the whiteboard as well on your mouse pad. And then at the very bottom of the toolbar is a T, and that's for the text. So you can click on that and then add text to the whiteboard directly. Or the very last icon is the sticky note. So if you'd rather add a sticky note, add some color, get creative, you can add a sticky note to add text that way as well. But I potentially want us to maybe take the next 4 or 5 minutes and individually reflect. So I want you to think about what parts of your current or previous work really energize you the most, get you excited. What are some of your gold nuggets, right? What are those skills that people really rely on you for? And then what industries or roles maybe are you curious about? And are there any barriers potentially that might hold you back from a career pivot? So feel free to start adding some text to the board. And if anyone has questions, feel free to unmute, ask in the chat box. We can help clarify on how to collaborate in this space. But if anyone has questions, definitely please feel free to ask. But we're taking the next 4 to 5 minutes to start reflecting together on our first steps for a career pivot. All right. Someone said I enjoy talking to people. That's great. Thank you. What else? Is anyone having any trouble with the whiteboard? Someone else is saying they enjoy coming up with creative solutions to problems. Excellent. Great. What about some of those skills? What are the skills that people consistently rely on you for? Management, leadership. Great. Industries or roles, people are curious about group learning, startups. Excellent. Great. Probably do a couple more minutes in this whiteboard, so feel free to keep adding all your thoughts down. Some other skills people rely on you for. Empathy. I love that. Understanding story and people. Great. Okay, I see a barrier coming in. I have little knowledge about the field I want to go into. Excellent, right? So that's where a lot of that, I'd say, research comes in, right? Your market research that you're doing, whether it's through networking or looking at industry reports or looking at some job postings, right? And seeing the skills that are needed. I see some team and collaboration for the skills people rely on. Great. I love these. Thank you so much. We'll probably go for one more minute. So any last thoughts you have, feel free to start adding them in here. So it seems like most people have wrapped up. Oops, see one more coming in. Okay, Carrie, are the most part that energizes you, newness, change? Absolutely. Energizes someone is one-on-one engagement. Great. Yeah, thinking about being one-on-one engaged with someone versus a bigger team. These are very important things to be thinking about. Absolutely. Creativity. Yes. Let's see. What are the barriers? What's on my resume versus I can't see the second part of that. My screen's blocking it off. Excellent. But I think this is a great start. Thank you, everyone. And we're going to give you a workbook after today to continue reflecting on these important things to consider before you even jump into your career pivot. All right, so we're going to move on to the next part of our whiteboard. Hopefully on the top left part of your screen in the whiteboard, you'll see career pivot action plan, and then you'll see a little cloud, a little globe mark, and then there's going to be a box that says one. I want you to click on that box that says one, and that should pull up the pages section. So we're going to go to page 2, which is the translation exercise. Como, if you don't mind just putting those instructions in the chat box, that would be great. But again, it's up in the top left-hand corner where it says Career Pivot Action Plan. And you're going to click on the little box that says one. That will bring up pages. And you're going to go to the second page, which is our translation exercise. So I'll give everyone a minute to navigate there. Okay, looks like I'm seeing everyone come. That's great. All right, so I want to use this time to just help you begin or kind of getting in the habit of taking some skills that you have and how you could potentially create that bridge, right? Or translate your skills and experience to what the job needs. So I took a very simplified job description, and let's say this is for a project coordinator role in the consulting industry. So think about maybe you're pretending you're going into these types of roles in the consulting industry. Consider what the experience you have right now, your key skills, your gold nuggets, right? And then think about from this job description, what does this job need? What maybe potential challenges or issues are they looking to fill? And then I want you to consider how can I bridge what I have to what the job needs? So I've included a example of a bridge statement. You don't have to write that out completely, but I want you to start thinking about what do I have? What does the job need? and how can I help connect the dots, right? And potentially fill any of those gaps. So I'll give you maybe the next 5 minutes or 4 minutes to do that. And again, if there's any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to help. What you have, coordination skills. Well, that's great. That's a great alignment already. What else? What do you feel like you really have already? It could be again those gold nuggets. It could be a specific type of experience or value you bring. And then thinking about what the job needs and potential value you can bring, helping bridge any gaps that might be missing. I think an example I could give, right, coming from working in higher ed for over 10 years now, and potentially if I wanted to go in the consulting industry and sort of some sort of project coordination role, a lot of overlap that I see that I have is I coordinate events, a lot of different timelines, um, collaborating with others, right? Solving a lot of or kind of troubleshooting through any issues. And I see that like the job needs that, and I think I could bring a lot of value through a lot of the events that I manage, the workshops that I have, working with diverse groups of people, and bring a lot of value to that to help coordinate different types of projects within any type of consulting company, working with diverse stakeholders or clients. So it's just some different examples. Any other thoughts from people before we wrap up on this specific whiteboard? So I see a couple people wrote coordination skills and interpersonal skills. And how might you be able to bring value specifically to, let's say, the consulting industry and in this type of work capacity? Interest in positive outcomes. I think I saw that. Great. And then someone saying or for their more bridging statement, my experience in tracking data and working on projects by breaking them down allows me to bring, I'll let you finish your thought. All right. Well, for the sake of time, because we only have about 5 minutes left, and I do have one more activity I want to help you begin to organize, and then a couple closing statements. So again, we're going to go up to the top left-hand corner. We're now going to uh, click on the box that says two, and we're going to go to page number 3. That's the action planning. We'll give everyone a minute to navigate there. And then I just want you to come up with, thinking into the future, one immediate action item that you can take. It could be very simple, like thinking around some of your skills, right? And you want to start marketing those. So it might be updating your LinkedIn header or about section. Maybe you have to schedule an informational interview with someone to do more research about an industry or job you're interested in. Um, The research step, right? Maybe what do I still need to do to learn more, right? Is that learning about industries of interest, researching target companies and the values that they have or the missions that they hold? And then one support resource. Who can help me in my career pivot? Is it a mentor that I already have in the field? Maybe I want to join a professional organization or association that is aligned with my career pivot. So let's start adding a couple items for each one of these sticky notes. And then I'll say let's do like 2 or 3 minutes for this, and then we'll finish up on our workshop today. Okay, one immediate action I see is networking, find a career counselor. Great. Someone wants to look into training for this field. Excellent. And since someone says explore the VC space by speaking with people who work in that industry. Excellent. Probably do 1 more minute. Any support resources? I saw the career counselor. Any other support resources that come to mind for folks? A mentor. Excellent. Research Zoom learning resources. Great. Well, thank you, everyone. I appreciate everyone who has engaged with these different whiteboards and been able to kind of collaborate with their peers and see what other people are thinking along the way in their career pivot. So I'm going to stop the whiteboard now, and I'm just going to go back to the slides and wrap up on some of our last few content items we have for you. Give this a minute to load. Excellent. All right, so our next steps is we have developed a career pivot action plan workbook for you. So you can take all these things that we just started collaborating on and go a little bit more into detail. So Komal is going to share the link to that as it's a simple Google Doc that has a few different tabs to work through. And I want you to challenge yourself to work through this and kind of keep tabs on this throughout your career plan or career pivot plan. It might change along the way, but I wanted you to have a centralized place and an organized place for yourself if you are serious about starting your next steps for a career pivot. And then I have a quick question for you. So I'm going to launch another poll. So just give me a minute to bring that up. And this is anonymous again. I will not be sharing out the results for this one, but we'd love to get a sense of, would you like to see more Level Up in 30 workshops on a variety of different topics? And would you potentially find value in ongoing access to our career services coaching for a nominal fee? So I'll give maybe 30 seconds for everyone to fill this out if you're interested. And again, I will not be sharing out these results. Give another few seconds for anyone who just wants to respond. Maybe 10 more seconds because we have 1 minute left with you all. All right, awesome. Thank you, everyone. All right, so I'm going to end that poll. And then just wrapping up by saying thank you so much for joining us today for our very first Level Up in 30 session and for engaging with me in the whiteboards. I hope you found all this information helpful. Again, just to start building that momentum in your career pivot. We're not going to have everything figured out today, but I do hope you were able to take away some key action steps or things to start thinking about if you're really considering that career pivot or your next step in your career. If you have any questions going forward, I've included Executive Education's email here. So if you have any questions about upcoming non-degree classes, please feel free to reach out to them. I also included a QR code and the link to our career services website. So feel free to check that out and see what resources are on there that might be available and applicable to you. But we wanted to make sure you have access to some of that information going forward. And then Komal, hopefully in the chat, has shared the survey to this session. So we'd love to get your feedback and understanding if this was helpful, if there's any specific items that we could do in the future, specific topics that really resonate with you that could be helpful. So please feel free to complete that survey. We would love your feedback for improvement. And then I would just want to note, hopefully this weekend or early next week, you should be receiving a follow-up email with the recording to this workshop, along with the link to the workbook and the survey again. So definitely look out for that in your inbox. But again, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to stay on probably for a few more minutes. So if anyone does have any questions, we are available to help out. But if not, feel free to jump off and enjoy the rest of your day and your summer. Thanks again.